Now, on See You on the Court TV, Marcus Wilson sits down with MOKAN Elite Basketball Director Matt Suther as he shares his accomplishments of his powerhouse program along with the benefits of playing in the EYBL. Plus, it is 5 on Friday, folks, as we take a look at the top 5 most viewed highlights for the month of July. And finally, an in-depth preview of the highly anticipated Indiana Elite versus the Indy Heat Gym Rats. Battle of the programs matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, this is See You on the Court TV. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of See You on the Court TV. As always, I'm your host, Levon Whitaker, and we're here for episode 1, 2, 3, the third episode of See You on the Court TV. So thank you all for tuning in. You won't be disappointed in this episode, and I'm going to keep that promise by jumping into the very first segment of episode 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Wilson, owner of Details of Life, sits down with MOKAN Elite Basketball Director Matt Suther, okay? This guy's one of a kind, just like Chris Rivers in last week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. This man runs one of the largest and top-ranked teams on the EYBL Circuit, okay? He's produced All-Americans and professional athletes such as Trae Young and Michael Porter Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, check out this interview.
Now, for the people that are just tuning in, and you know, I know about MOKAN because I'm in the basketball world. I'm in Missouri, and you guys are right there. But for the people that don't know, who are just tuning in, what are some of the things that you guys have accomplished over the years in terms of pros that you guys have made, and how many guys, coaches on your staff who have maybe went on to the next level, All-Americans, maybe, you know, scholarship dollars that you've produced over the years? Do you have some highlights that you could tell the average listener about the impact that you've had across for players and coaches?
Putting me on the spot with numbers, man.
Wow.
I know we, you know, off the top of my head, you know, we've got 29 guys playing professionally now. 8 of those guys are in the NBA. We've had 6 All-Americans. The scholarship assistance is at over $30 million now. We've had over 150 guys that have got college scholarships. McDonald's All-Americans, USA Basketball, all that stuff. Obviously, you know, we've had guys that have got the opportunity to do those things. So, you know, we're very proud of those things. But we're proud of the kids because obviously they're talented kids, but they put in the work that it takes to get those opportunities. So, you know, extremely proud of our alums for sure.
Man, you're being real humble right now. I mean, anybody out there that's watching right now, I recommend you go to their website, look at some of the things they've accomplished. He's being very humble right now, which is a good thing. But moving on, I did want to ask you about AAU basketball. Like you said, it's AAU, whatever you want to call it. You know, there's 3 main circuits, and there's some other independent teams and some other circuits that are coming up right now. But, you know, it's EYBL, Adidas, Under Armour primarily. And so if there was a kid trying to decide, do I play for MOKAN or do I play on the EYBL, what are some of the reasons that you think that someone should play for your team, or even why would they choose the EYBL over another league? From
a league or circuit standpoint, there's no comparison with the EYBL and the other circuits. You know, I think it's over 85% of the top 100 every year on average are in the EYBL. A huge percentage of the NBA draft over the past couple of years, and at that point, you're talking about the world. You're just not talking about the EYBL over other shoe circuits. It is coming from the EYBL. I think 6 out of the 10 kids in last year's NCAA tournament on every team on average were from the EYBL. So, you know, it's the best of the best, and iron sharpens iron. So if you say you want to be a lead and you want to test yourself against the best and you want to put yourself on a platform where if you do well, you know, there's endless opportunities. It's not even close. Now, with that being said, I would never sit here and say if a kid doesn't play in the EYBL, he doesn't have an opportunity to, you know, to go to a good school or to make it to the NBA one day. You know, that's obviously not true. But you know, it is the best of the best that there is to offer in grassroots basketball. And we talk to kids all the time about, you want to be the best, you got to play against the best. You know, in terms of what separates MOKAN, we're very, very intentional about, you know, being real with kids and holding them accountable and putting them in competitive environments that allow them to not only have success in basketball, but also in life. You know, we want these guys to be in an environment where it matters if you win or lose, because that's the reality that you and I face every day, right? It drives me crazy when people go to an environments where it's not about winning, where it's not about being held accountable, where it's about just kind of rolling out the ball and letting them do what they want, because they may think they're having success in the moment, but long term that's setting them up for failure. So that's one of the biggest things that we try to stress to the kids that are coming into our program is, hey, we're trying to set you up for the future. This isn't just about right now. This is about making you feel good right now. You got to go through some pain right now to eventually reach your goals. So that's kind of the message we try to send.
Man, you hit the nail on the head with that, which leads me to my next question. I see a lot of, and I think this is a product of sponsorship deals. So I understand that this is a tough question, but I see some AAU programs, they only focus on getting ranked players because, if you get ranked players, you're going to get a deal. That's just the way it works these days. And some teams are a lot more focused on winning, right? How do you balance that chemistry of trying to get top 100 ranked players to make sure that you continue getting your deal versus also putting together a good team that is a complementary team that is built to win? How do you balance doing that?
That's obviously a challenge for everybody in our world. I do not focus a bunch on rankings. We're going to focus on and look at the most talented kids in our area in the states that touch us. But we're looking for kids that want to be in an environment like I just talked about. And there are a lot of kids that want to be in that environment. And so even though I don't necessarily focus that much on rankings, if you get talented kids, you put them in a culture and an environment that helps them get better, to reach his potential. And what do we need to do to help him reach his potential? And also what does the team need to do to reach its potential? Because when we look back on every team that we've had that's had a large amount of success as a team, each of those kids individually on that team get more. So, that's just something, we try to focus on both, and it's getting the most and the best out of every kid that we have, and also what's best for the team. And so they've kind of naturally worked together.
Well, whatever you're doing, you're making it work. Cause like I said, you're always one of the best teams in the EYBL. But speaking of the EYBL, it's been kind of taken away from us this summer because of COVID-19. And I know there's some other opportunities to play, but how has this impacted you this summer, and what are some of the things you're doing with the MOKAN program without the EYBL circuit?
Yeah, it's been tough, especially for seniors to be. These guys have worked so hard to get to this point in their career, and now, they're not getting the opportunity to be on that platform. This is a time where, relationships are huge, and because of all the success that our kids for the past 16 years have had in college, it creates, a level of influence that we have with our staff that we can reach out and continue to try to get our kids opportunities and looks. But, on top of that, we're going to do a mini camp in July, knock on wood that everything still is able to go through and run smoothly, where we're going to do a lot of live streaming and collect film that we can send out to coaches. But, nothing can replace the platform of the EYBL and those opportunities they have. So we're just trying to be really proactive in terms of keeping, our kids in front of these coaches and giving them opportunities to be seen.
Yeah, man, that's good to hear that you're still doing your part to help get these kids exposure, and the ultimate goal is getting them to college and playing for free. So even though we won't be able to see you guys playing in the great facility down in Atlanta and all that with the EYBL, who are some of the guys that we could expect to see with MOKAN this summer? I mean, do you already have your roster set, and who are some of the guys that we might recognize where somebody can look and say, yeah, I know that kid, he's a top ranked kid? Who are some of your stars that are playing with MOKAN this summer?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had our teams formed since February, and we've actually been doing weekly Zoom calls with the teams where we've still been, because this thing has just continued to progress. So we didn't know initially that the whole EYBL season was going to be canceled. It kind of went in phases. One session was canceled, then another session was canceled, and the entire season was canceled. And we're still hopeful that there's going to be some NCAA live periods that happen. So we've kept our teams engaged. We do weekly Zoom calls. We're still going over, defensive rules and principles and trying to go over some playbook stuff and showing them, showing them film of execution things. And we've been getting a lot of our alums on the phone, on the Zoom calls to talk about, how hard the guys need to work and things to focus on. And so, probably the 3 top-ranked guys on our 17U team this year would have been Kennedy Chandler, who was the point guard on last year's EYBL championship team, #1 point guard in the country. Bryce Hopkins, he is currently committed to Louisville. He's one of the top forwards in the country. And then Kendall Brown, who is undecided where he's going right now, but is also one of the top 5 wings in the country. So those 3 guys, would have been our most highly ranked guys. And, it was really disappointing because, we felt like we had built a team that had an opportunity to potentially go back to back, which no team has ever done. So that's disappointing, but we have to continue to focus on trying to do what we can do for the guys. There's so many guys on that team outside of those 3 that are definitely Division I players. And I know would have gotten those opportunities had the EYBL happened as normal, but they'll get their shot and they'll get their opportunity. We're working hard to try to make that happen.
Thank you so much to Marcus Wilson for conducting such a great interview with Matt Suther. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go check out this full interview, okay? I'm going to tell you why, because Matt Suther is one of a kind, okay? I don't know how many times I have to say this. This man won the Peach Jam in 2016 and 2019. Not him specifically, but his team, the MOKAN Elite Basketball team. 2016 and 2019, okay? Go check out this full interview of Marcus Wilson and Matt Suther on YouTube on the details of life. You won't be disappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next segment, okay? 5 on Friday. That's what it is, okay? The top 5 most viewed highlights for the month of July. You won't be disappointed. Check them out. Coming in at number 5, the big man from the top of the key takes the shot. Is that Blake Griffin? No, it's Kalen Essler with the 2-handed putback slam. And at number 4, we got the 2022 class of the Indy Heat. Here it is, Tayshaun Comer gets it to CJ Gunn. I love it when you call me Big Papa. He knew he wanted to make the top 5 on Friday, and there it is. At number 3, Michi Johnson brings it across half court. He goes to the pick. He rolls to the rack. He gets to his big man Caleb first for the gentle 2-handed slam. And at number 2, Kobe Buffkin made the highlights for last week's episode, and here it is for the month of July. Goes up, Vince Carter? No, that's still Kobe Buffkin. And here he is again, Kobe Buffkin. He goes to the rack. He goes up to infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear, also known as Kobe Buffkin. Now, let's check in with Honest Game as they share some valuable information on NCAA academic eligibility.
Welcome back to the Honest Game Minute, where our experts break down a piece of academic eligibility for college sports in 60 seconds. Today we're going to debunk a common myth about the NCAA Eligibility Center. These days you can register for the Eligibility Center as early as 8th grade with an unpaid free account. And then you can transition it to a paid account later when you're sure you're going to go D1 or D2. And what you get with this registration is information that's emailed to you and updates. But none of this is personalized updates. So, in fact, your academics will not be reviewed by the NCAA until you're formally placed on an institutional request list by a college coach that is recruiting you. And so you can't leave this up to chance. Honest Game can help you track your academic requirements and provide you guidance on eligibility as early as freshman year. Check us out at honestgame.com. We'll see you at the next Honest Game Minute.
As always, thank you so much to the Honest Game Minute for their valuable information. And now, folks, the final segment of this episode. The highly anticipated matchup, the battle of the programs, the Indiana Elite versus the Indy Heat Gym Rats. Here's the preview. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. All right, folks, here are the players to keep an eye out for in this weekend's Battle of the Brands. We're going to start with the preview of the Indiana Elite and their high-level talented players. Getting things started for the 17U 2021 class, we've got Trey Kaufman-Wren, the 6'8", 210 power forward out of Silver Creek High School. This guy's one of the top-ranked players in the state of Indiana. He's made a name for himself. He averaged 26 points per game his junior year and reminds me of Kevin Durant with his slender build, ability to get to the rack, create his own shots, and shoot the tray ball. Next up, we got the 6'9", 225 center out of Moeller High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, the IU commit, Logan Duncombe. This guy is a top-ranked player in Ohio. Reminds me of Tyler Hansbrough. Why? Because he has the grit. He has the strength. Not only that, he does not back down from anyone or anybody, okay? Next up, we've got the 6'6", 175-pound small forward, J.R. Konechny out of St. Joseph High School. He's a sharpshooter. You let this guy get to his spot, he will knock it down. And last but not least, we've got Jaden Taylor out of Perry Meridian High School, the 6'3", 170-pound combo guard. Energetic, okay, he gets to the rack and reminds me of Colin Sexton because of his energy. He has the grit. He's a bulldog. This guy is unstoppable. Those are your 17U 2021 top-ranked players to keep an eye out for. All right, folks, here we are with the Indy Heat players to keep an eye out for in this weekend's Battle of the Brands versus Indiana Elite. To get things started, we've got the Indy Heat 17U EYBL 2021 class. And to start things off, we've got Caleb First, the Purdue commit. He stands at 6'9", folks, okay? He's ranked number 30 in the country. He's elite, he's skilled, he's athletic, and he's going to play for head coach Matt Painter, okay? Next up, we've got Michi Bad News Johnson, an Ohio State commit. He's 6'4", and let me tell you something about this kid, okay? He can shoot the tray ball, okay? The flick of the wrist game is absolutely nasty. This man, most importantly, is a floor general and an elite passer. Keep an eye out for Michi Bad News Johnson. Boy, do I love that nickname. Next up, we've got my guy Luke Goody, okay? He's going to play for head coach Brad Underwood at Illinois University. He's 6'5", he's 175 pounds, and he's a shooting guard, okay? But emphasis on the shooting, okay? Because this guy is a sharpshooter by any means necessary. He's anything outside of that, okay? This guy has elite, tremendous skills and talent, okay? He can shoot the ball. That's his strong suit, but he does a lot more for this team. Luke Goody, my man, going to Illinois. Next up, we've got another Ohio State commit. He's 6'9", though, okay? Kalen Etzler, the big man. But actually, he plays the forward position. Why? Because he's athletic. He's slender, okay? He can do it all, folks. Kalen Etzler is a guy to keep your eyes on this weekend. That's why he's on this list. Next up, we've got Julian Roper, the Northwestern commit. Okay, folks, another talented young man. This guy is skilled. He can do it all, and he's going to be something to keep your eye on this weekend. Keep your eyes and ears open for this guy, Julian Roper. And last but not least, we've got Blake Wesley out of South Bend Riley High School. He's 6'5", he's 170 pounds. He's a combo high major guard, okay? I've seen this guy. He has tremendous athletic ability. He has tremendous scoring ability. This guy is slim, but he can throw it down. He's powerful. He can shoot the ball. He can create his own shot. He can pass the ball. Blake Wesley, keep your eyes and ears open for this 17U EYBL Class of 2021 team this weekend in the Battle of the Brands. Next up, we've got the Indiana Elite 17U 2021 second-ranked team, okay? Getting things started. We got a 6'5", 180-pound small forward out of Lafayette, Indiana, okay? His name is Brooks Bonzer. This guy has great body control. He's a shot creator. In one game last year, he averaged 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, and 2 steals, only with 5 turnovers. This guy is elite. He's on another level. Next up, we got Langdon Hatton out of North Harrison High School. 6'9", 220 from North Harrison High School. Excellent footwork. Let me say that again. Excellent footwork by Langdon Hatton. He's strong, he's aggressive, and he's going to be a problem. Those are your 17U 2021 players to keep an eye out for. Next up, we got the Indy Heat Red for the 17U class of 2021. This kid that's first up, he's 6'3", he's 165 pounds, he's special, he's a tough scoring combo guard. This kid is crafty and he reads the screens like no other. His name happens to be Zane Burke out of Black Hawk Christian High School. Keep an eye out on Zane Burke this weekend. Next up, we've got the 6'7", 210 power forward. He's a shot blocker and rebounder. That's what he does. That's his specialty. He's out of Churubusco High School. His name is Landon Jordan. Keep an eye out on LJ. Next up, we've got Nayland Thompson out of Bishop Luers High School. This man is 6'3", 165 pounds. He's a high-level scoring guard. This kid stacks the defense up and breaks them down like he's playing Tetris. Nayland Thompson, he's special. Keep an eye out for him this weekend. Those are your Indy Heat Rats, 17U, class of 2021, players to keep an eye out for. Next up is the top-ranked team for the Indiana Elite 16U 2022 class. Getting things started, we've got Will Loving Watts. I love that name, by the way. He's out of Jefferson High School. He stands at 6'4". He weighs in at 170 pounds. He's a shooting guard and he's a smooth operator. Got more bounce than an ounce. This guy is cool, calm, and collective at all times. You wouldn't know what's going on. He's just going to dominate you at his own pace. Next up, we've got Evan Mahaffey out of Cincinnati Morelia High School, standing at 6'6". He's a high-level forward, okay? This guy does it all with his energy. He reminds me a lot of Montrezl Harrell. He leads this team with his energy. He has great footwork, and he will go up and get the job done whenever it needs to be done. Those are your players to keep an eye out for the Indiana Elite 16U class of 2022 top-ranked team. All right, folks, let's keep it going. Next up, we've got the EYBL for the 16U class of 2022 Indy Heat team. Getting things started, we've got my man, Tay Davis, out of Warren Central High School. He's 6'6". This guy is a guard/wing. He's a complete player. Tay can do it all. He can do no wrong. He's a high major prospect at that, okay? He plays multiple positions on the floor. He plays the big man. His brother just went off to Louisville University. This young man, Tay Davis, he's special, and he's going to make some noise this weekend. Next up, folks, out of Lawrence North High School, we've got C.J. Gunn, standing at 6'4", 170 pounds, okay? He has a tremendous wingspan. He's a high major shooting guard, folks. He's an elite scorer, and this man is always looking for the cameras so he can be on the See You on the Court 5 on Friday. Give it up for C.J. Gunn, and look out for this man. Next up, we've got Pete Moe out of Cathedral High School, 6'8", 215 pounds, a power forward. He's a post player. Once he gets you on that block, there's no turning back. He's going to abuse you every single time. Next up, we've got his teammate, also out of Cathedral High School, Tayshawn Comer, standing at 5'11", 165 pounds, a pure point guard, okay? A floor general and a winner, if nothing else. Ladies and gentlemen, this man reminds me of Dame Dollar. That's right, Damian Lillard out of Portland. An elite scorer, he can do it all. He's a pure point guard, as I mentioned before. Keep an eye out on Tayshawn Comer. And last but not least, out of Grand Rapids Catholic High School, at 6'6", 180 pounds, the small forward, Jack Karasinski. Okay, listen to me, folks. This guy is skilled, he's athletic, he's strong, and he's not too fancy. He just gets the job done. Jack Karasinski, that's his name. Keep an eye out for him. These are your players to keep an eye out for the EYBL 16U class of 2022 Indy Heat team. And last but not least, we've got the second-ranked team for the Indiana Elite 16U class of 2022. Getting things started, we've got Ahmad Gerard out of Mount Vernon Fort Beale High School. 6'4", a crafty guard, also a combo guard. He can score the ball at his own will. Keep an eye out for him. Next up, we got the 6'6", 190 pounds, Kaleo Kakalia out of Mishawaka Marion High School. This guy is a small forward, but he's strong. He's physical, and he reminds me of Draymond Green because he's always open in the paint. He does all the dirty work, and he can get that ball off the glass into the net with no problem. Next up, we've got Caden Stanton out of New Albany High School, standing at 5'11". This guy is a lucky lefty, okay? That's what I call him. His first step is quick. He's explosive, so keep an eye out for this kid. Don't lose him. Next up, we got Billy Smith out of Brebeuf High School, 6'4", 175 pounds, a shooting guard, a stop and pop guy. When he picks his spot, he's going to drain it, and you better be over there when he does it. If not, it's going to be a long day. Those are your players to keep an eye out for the second-ranked team of the Indiana Elite 16U class of 2022. And last but not least, folks, we've got the Indy Heat, the 16U Red team for the class of 2022. And to get things started, we've got the young man out of Carroll High School at 6'4", 175 pounds, a point guard. His name is Jalen Jackson. Now, folks, his name might be common, but his game is everything but that because he's skilled. He's a pure point guard, and he has great athletic ability. Next up, we've got Jagger Linder, the 6'7" power forward out of Wayne Trace High School. And folks, you may be asking what this young man's skill set is, what his strengths are. I'll tell you, his strength, his power is his strong suit, okay? This young man uses it in the post, okay? He will overpower you at any given moment. And last but not least, for the Indy Heat Red for the 16U team, we've got Joe Reedy, a 6'6" small forward out of Woodland High School. Okay, folks, hear me out. This young man, he shoots the ball tremendously from the perimeter. Reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson. This kid is going to put on a show this weekend. And folks, these are your players to keep an eye out for in this weekend's Battle of the Brands. I will see you on the court. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got something very special for you this segment. And you might be asking, what is it? But hey, I'm your host. So I'm going to give you the what, the who, the where, the how, the why, the when. Okay, we learned that in elementary school, folks. So let's get straight to it. This weekend, two of the oldest programs in grassroots basketball history. Well respected not only in Indiana, but also the Midwest. Okay, listen. Around since the early 1990s. Very elite. The Battle of the Brands is going down at Finch Creek Fieldhouse this Saturday. It starts at 11:30 a.m. Listen, folks, it's the Indiana Elite playing on the Adidas Gauntlet Circuit versus the Indy Heat Gym Rats playing on the Nike EYBL Circuit, baby. Listen, these two teams, these two programs are rivals, okay? You got the 15U, the 16U, and the 17U all playing against each other this weekend in the same gym. Folks, it's the rivalry for me. Ain't that what they say on social media? That's what it is for me, baby. Look, you got to be there. Why? Because I'm going to be there on the sideline, reporting, getting some interviews for you. If you can't make it in person, make sure you're watching online. We got that for you. And where can you find it? Ladies and gentlemen, you can find it on YouTube, on the Indy Heat Gym Rats page, or the See You on the Court page. You can also go online to gymratsbasketball.com to look at the schedule for this weekend. And if you're able to make it in person, it is $10 general admission. Ladies and gentlemen, be there or be square. I'm going to be there. Will you? Check it out and let me know. Will I see you on the court? Y'all stay blessed and keep on pushing.